great spot in this series.
5 more seconds and it all begins. We do have the frenzy coming out for Kangkang. We're going to have a couple of bits and pieces to look towards. It will be EDG on the attack, G2 on the defending side. This is common ground for G2. How do they look now? Jorgamo already noted.
Got Jonah P playing over in Waterfall, was stun held early on in the round, but I think EDG, Smoggy especially, on this Clove is going to want to challenge into the B site, look and see if there's a potential pivot through that door.
Yeah, Teo Utility has already cleared over towards that A space, so the likes of G2, they can sit a little bit more comfortable in this stack, but already Kangkang's going to take the space away. They've got security on B.
Yeah, he made that noise sliding into Waterfall, but falls out because they want to fight up into heaven. 3 players ready to attack towards Leaf with this stun.
G2, you better be ready for this. You know what EDG are like. They want to bring that tempo. They want to bring that pace. They take up towards that CT side, over towards stairs. Now the fight actually begins. Util still in play. It's Leaf to fall, Trent to fall, Valorant goes down. G2 falling like flies until then. Jorgamo and Jonah P now with an uphill struggle, to say the least. Kangkang makes sure of it. EDG, round 1.
Just destruction here on the opening pistol for EDG. That fight up for heaven goes beautifully, and they'd also left Chichu, who's been such a consistent problem for any team that faces EDG in this tournament. He's over in main, killing those flankers from G2 that were trying to pinch in on the retake.
And look back at that, nobody off to a belting start. And I feel like when you look through this EDG roster, every single player, their name just strikes fear, doesn't it? Chichu, probably in line to being one of the players to walk out of this with that MVP.
He has been playing absolutely phenomenally so far across this tournament, in that series versus G2 earlier as well. Looks like into this next round, G2 have guessed poorly. 4 players on that C site, and EDG gonna quickly find that no one's really home apart from John. He doesn't even have a sheriff to his name.
This is lacking in almost all areas, hoping for a bit of timing or something on their side. Chichu's having none of that. Jorgamo found, site secure, plants in play, everything looking good, tick in the box.
Yeah, right now G2 just trying to show a couple of those C fights early on in these opening rounds. Start that conditioning. Smoggy's conditioning is that he's just going to kill you if you look at him.
I think that goes for all of them, actually. That seems to apply throughout. Oh, and the confidence is sky high. Leaf brought to his knees real quick.
Yeah, at least he doesn't have to go very far. He's already back in spawn, ready to rebuy a gun.
Isn't that nice of them?
Not too bad.
Any early ults to come through here? Nothing massively locked in yet. Obviously, Chichu the closest, but not exactly something you're going to be writing home about. But again, I do want to see once those start building, who's going to be the player to kind of take the forefront in this. We've got some big names here. Maybe some that you wouldn't expect. Jaws not even been the kind of headliner in my mind. It's been Jonah P, it's been Trent, it's been Leaf on occasion, all having their moments in the sun. Of course, for EDG, just lists off the whole roster.
Yeah, it's going to be a brawl headed over towards Rebel in this early round. I mean, tons of utility spent.
Oh, everything's here. This is absolutely wild. It's Jonah P and Trent to get the secure kills first. It's slowed down the roll a lot for EDG. Spam through the smoke, hoping for a connection. Unconfirmed damage, but damage nonetheless.
Yeah, G2 going to back out of that space, just throw up the Viper wall, fall on back. You can see G2 a little bit worried about one player rotating into that B space, so can use a Tejo drone to clear out front B, realize no one's in there, maybe start shifting back into the A side after that sees nothing.
No peeking.
Just easing off the pressure here. EDG looking to settle into this. Again, now the pressure's almost on G2 to keep this cool, to not lose any of these access points, and I hope they don't go overly searching here. Jorgamo better play this patiently.
He could peek into spawn here, and the timing says that he might. Gets it, sees the spike. That's a good look from him. Going for more is just too much, though.
That greed could cost him. Again, these are the small margins, those fine margins. And look at the rest of G2. Look how passive they are sat here.
Exactly. And G2 don't play with the Sentinel. Neither of these teams do. So once you lose players especially, there's these huge gaps. They've got 2 players in spawn right now because you can't hold B site and A site. Instead, they're giving all that territory away, saying, you plant the spike, tell us where you are, then we'll go on the retake.
And then you look at Trent and you look at Valen, utility at plenty. They've got plenty to play on the retake with as well. They can try and clear through some of these areas. And for EDG, it's doing their due diligence as well. Methodically approaching. A nice attempt here to stall, but I feel like they could have maybe paused for a second and tried to play off it. But regardless, they start working back through heaven, and nobody's tried to slip the net. Now, Leaf is such an aware player. He should be heads up for this one. Lovely. Good shoulder check. Doesn't need to do too much. Needs to wait for the other 2 to swing in through this smoke. Looking for that paranoia. It's good. Nobody removed from the fight. Smoggy falls. Valen strides in. It's not going to happen for nobody. G2 keep They're cool.
That's that signature G2 patience, that control going in on the retake there. Leaf just barely jiggling that line. You could tell he knew that EDG were going to try to get aggressive. And it all starts with this early fight into Rubble, right? G2 had shown 2 looks where they were majority of their team over towards Sand, so as soon as they come in on the anti-bonus, it's going to be that big Rubble fight. Throw that loop at EDG, catch them off guard.
Nice, boys.
This feels like it's all about kind of setting expectations, right? Tempo expectations, the pressure, the pace coming in from this. Because EDG went in really head first over towards that Rubble side. And I wonder if they're willing to brawl again, because it looks like G2 are up for it.
Honestly, EDG, when they played Trace on this map in their finals, it was just a Rubble fights on loop, and we're seeing more of it now.
Oh, this might be vicious. You're looking at Kung to try and find a little bit of space to maneuver in, and if anything, he just found the bad end of the gun. Trent and Joe P putting in the pain. G2 once again walking away with the advantage from this scrap.
I like that G2 are matching EDG blow for blow over here, because usually their A-holds are a lot more reserved. You know, let Jaw take a fight with some utility, and then he'll TP back. That's what EDG's prep would have told them, but by showing these early fights, EDG are realizing it's not that free territory they're maybe expecting in this matchup.
We saw that gear shift in the last round for G2. Hyper passive, right? Playing almost in spawn. Now it looks like G2 still want to secure this space by Rubble. It's been evacuated. Maybe just that Teo drone coming in and still having some contact kept them present enough. But the C site is completely available. Obviously, EDG don't know that. They're still going to try and take a little bit of precaution on the way through. But this buys time for some of these rotations. And for G2, they don't need to rush things. You got to look at what util they have to play this back in with. Trent still primed with plenty. Valorant should be there as well.
What I'm looking at in this post plant, EDG are down numbers. They're going to want to fight forward, and Simon has the fault line ready to go. To me, it looks like a fight into Waterfall where G2 are stacked.
Yeah, this could be an absolute brawl breaking out. They want to have a fight. Yeah, the stun's just spot on. They're going for the swing, and it might have been a miss until then. Smoggy with back-to-back impact. He didn't expect the third, but finally Valorant makes it there. Down to the 1v1. Simon sees him playing around. What does Simon say about this one? Nothing! Valorant brings him to his knees, and this discipline from G2 looks perfect.
That was unreal, right? EDG had the perfect read, stun up 2 targets, but they weren't ready for that extra player into Waterfall. Valen keeping his cool in that moment too. It's just exactly what G2 needed to tie it up.
I'm just impressed with the win cons that G2 are playing to, because they're reading EDG quite nicely, it feels like. Have an early scrap. Luckily for them, they've been coming out with man advantages from this fight, which I don't want to say it's a coin flip. It does feel high risk, but they've been rewarded. But then in these post plants, they know what they need to do here. EDG want to get that advantage back, want to get a player up. They're ready for these brawls.
Yeah, the brawls on the retakes are looking real clean. And honestly, they're set up to continue showing similar looks.
Let's go, baby!
Jumping into the next round, EDG going to be fighting for Rubble again, although this time G2 are not going to overcommit to the space. Giacomo's over towards C, and you look at the ults G2 have on the Tejo, on the Yoru as well. They're going to not be so keen to fight forward and instead play a heavy retake with those abilities.
And again, if you're EDG, you're being conditioned to believe there is presence there, right? So it gives G2 that freedom to now put bodies elsewhere, over towards Mound, over towards this passive B hold. It allows a lot of faith to be put in Trent.
Now that EDG have chosen not to speed up into the A site, that they're playing for this space in front B, well, G2 with this sand space, they can open up door. If EDG try to exec in, they can get a little crunch going in the mid-round.
I like what EDG are trying, though. They're going fact-finding, right? They're looking for information here. They felt maybe there was that pressure towards A, but they've already put players up towards it, right? A little bit of a show towards door, a little bit of the paranoia. These are all ticks in the box, right? They're trying to draw players over, get a read. Kung, I've noted it's on over towards Mound there.
EDG have the perfect timing to go for a B hit. Giacomo just teleported out of the sand space, so there's no crunch this time.
Oh, this is nice. It was a real feint towards A. It's drawn the eyes over there. The ult's even going to go in, but now we know it's over towards B, but the chaos continues. Jaw wants to find some impact here. He's found more than that. He's found 3. They're pouring through towards the seaside. Valen can't get the gun out in time. EDG pivot on a dime, but they're not in the clear just yet. Kung still securing CT, holding that space, allowing the plant to come in. Chichu catching that B rotate. They out-pivoted G2 so well this round.
EDG just snapped G2's ankles in half. I mean, what a play. They were so patient in that round, really testing out the space into A, baiting out an ultimate, and then going all the way into C.
Wow. God, that's good problem solving.
Wow. And you think back to, what was it, the pistol round where they went for that B hit, they slid into the waterfall space and then backed out of it, fought towards heaven. So that's what G2 are thinking about. This time they go all the way through and G2 have no clue what's happening to them.
And I mean, it's just the boldness in the way EDG plays. I love it. The fact they were so willing to pivot through towards C, maybe knowing G2 have been playing hyper passive. They haven't been playing, super active on these sites. The rotations are taking that long route around playing safety. But again, the fact that they found that out by what, round 5, round 4, they have nice plans in mind. It's beautiful, and it's broken the money of G2.
All those little inserts they left on the map to watch their backs also looking very nice. Now, G2, they've got a fall line ready to stun front B if Valorant finds any sort of contact. But I like how EDG have slowed things down because you're going to run into problems because G2 run a lot of these set trap plays. So getting the info is always very important so you don't get caught off guard.
Oh, G2 knows it. That smoke coming in, he was like, guys, help me out here. I'm about to be surrounded. Lovely little set piece for G2 just to maybe try and get that weapon away, right? Secure some security for themselves, get a little upgrade, and bail out. Valorant's going to have that for now, but the C site is under threat.
I don't want to make you nervous, but EDG lost 8 of their 13 anti-ecos yesterday.
Stop it. Stop it. It won't happen again, right? Not like this. Kang already going to show some dominance towards CT. Sides on in. Yeah, they're not taking any chances this time. Kang! It's the name up in lights. Pops the ult, secures the round. They are taking 0 risk.
It almost looks like just the playbook that Liquid was trying to run versus G2 the other day, where it's all these fights forward. Now a couple times back-to-back. Kong sitting at 10 kills currently. After it got a little bit dodgy at the start, it was a 3v5 at one point. Go into the Neon Ultimate, and G2 have no chance against that.
And maybe, again, look, if we note the statistics that EDG was struggling in converting those sort of rounds, having some issues there, yeah, they doubled down.
Looks to me like G2 are going to go all in for another Rebel fight here. Ready to go with stuns. I mean, just a carbon copy these last few rounds, and G2 are continuing to dominate.
Jaw lighting it up himself now, right back into things with 2 big picks. Again, man advantage. Last time around, we've seen G2 then shift into a passive hold. They have not fallen away just yet. EDG want more. They want more pain, apparently. G2 punishing. That push-up, trying to get closer. It is just a massacre over towards A.
The walls closing in. From the start of the round, Leaf is full sprinting on the flank to catch out EDG. It was a great refight back through door from Trent. Jogamo starting it off with the 2K. That's what G2 need to continue to show this fight into rubble and force EDG out of that space.
Feels like a game of chicken now. I'm looking at the minimap already. Y'all can watch a replay, but it feels like who's going to back away first? Surely they won't do it again, right? Surely they won't run in this time.
Well, I'm not so sure. What EDG need to do is make sure they're not getting double flashed when they're double diving into root. I think they're going back rubble this time around, and G2 are fighting them again.
This is going to be similar scenes, isn't it? Kang trying to find his routing, find his spacing, and right now they're just finding pain here. Push back once again, Valorant wants the space, looks for his man, and it's Jonah P to catch him. Beautiful from G2, that is stunning, and it's over, surely Smoggy. This feels unwinnable, a 1v3, prove me wrong, I dare you. But this is waving the banner of G2. They're just not even giving him a chance. Have fun, good luck, catch you in the next. We're back all even.
G2 cringing it to the max after they get the kills. Not going to let Clove have a chance to steal back into the round. But you can see those slight differences there. This time, G2 not overcommitting bodies. They let EDG into the space because they have the ultimate trump card. The breach ult just wreaks havoc on EDG, trying to flood in there one after another.
And they're not finding resolution to this, right? And we give a lot of compliments, and rightly so, to EDG for their problem-solving abilities. We love that pivot through B, but you can't keep running those. They're very hard to find repping for a different outcome. This is a broken purchase too. It ain't pretty. There's still gonna be those stingers there, but they do have 3 rifles, one being a Bulldog, yes, but still. We go again into the battlefield. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Utility
nice,
early.
Though. It's a little bit more restrained. A fake teleport this time around, getting ready for the quick re-clear.
Yeah, this is nice. Now, surely G2 have considered this as well, right? We've got that Teho drone going through B. Gonna see nothing. Re-smoke. And Valen now gonna be stunned, but Gus get played in! He plays it early as well! Stunned up, he still comes out swinging! G2! This is their part of the map! I don't know how EDG are meant to make it through! They are being massacred towards A!
I can't stress enough how different this look of G2 is. Not just from the last time they played against EDG, but how they play this map of Lotus. You never see this team fighting just like this. But their prep coming in told them EDG like to fight for this space. Josh RT said, don't let them have it for free. And they pretty consistently forced the issue on Rebel.
And again, we were kind of complimenting it even in that round. The little tempo change there from EDG, showing a little bit of patience, not going into the util early, not wanting that early scrap, but G2 still just spamming into the smoke, winning every fight. This feels like a shutout. It is crazy to see this. EDG, keep in mind, they won the pistol, got the follow-up. These are sort of things that add to the scoreline.
Going back.
Do you know the whole definition of madness thing is doing the same thing over and over and hoping for a different outcome? Surely there is a difference.
It's a little better. It's the fake TP again, except this time instead of the re-clear, it's going to be a quick B pivot. I love this look from EDG.
We liked it before as well. We liked it even when they went through Waterfall. We liked a lot of this. And I'd like to see a bit more. EDG. Are they going for the plan here? They are, but close by, G2 are waiting. Nobody lucky, but flashed in. Proactive on the play. Takes a swing, takes the trade. Better. EDG winning out their fights, but Valorant tipping the scales right back in. It's a scrap through and through. This is a bloody battle from start to end, down to the 2v2. G2 win back the site at least.
There's a late flank coming in from Chichu as well. Despite was one in main, but Chichu is on the hunt.
There's no way. Chichu, your timing is everything. They thought about it, Leaf thought about it, but Jaw on the other side! He's got it! A safe pair of hands for G2 today! Exactly what they needed.
You just can't discount Chichu in a spot like that.
No, you can't.
The collective holding a breath in this arena. Because every other time he's in a spot like that this tournament, he has won it. Finally, someone steps up to take him down. G2 really were challenged on this retake again. EDG getting up in their face.
I keep expecting one team just to slow down the pace, but it's just trading back and back and back and back. It's crazy watching these two just fight this out the whole way.
It's a bit heartbreaking for EDG because once again, it's a pad buy. Once again, out of this timeout, it's showing some presence A, but not going into the space. But clearly, the adjustment hasn't resulted in much of anything for EDG.
Luke's been chilling. He's not had much to do on this side of the map. He's relaxed. He might not be now.
I kind of forgot C existed, I'm not going to lie.
Certainly early round. At the very least, Kung going to be lucky to be alive on 20. Whoa! A flying leaf looking like a force of nature. Goes back in. What on earth are you thinking? Audacious play. But G2, again, showing their willingness to fight on these sites.
Health bars were looking bad for EDG, but it was mostly the decay damage. Now EDG, what do we do? Still one off from a breach ultimate. Nothing else really to play with. But you know they want to get aggro.
They're really hungry for this one too. Oh, not pretty for Smoggy there. That's rough. Forced away. Now the site starts to constrict. Starts to feel smaller. Starts to feel uncomfortable. Valid, not clean himself, but more HP. Job done. Simon and Chichu. We say it when Chichu stands, it always feels like there's a chance, but this is a lot to ask for. It might be, oh my god, it is still Chichu, hold on! There's a man diving behind. He had no idea about it. Jorgamo bounding through the map. And G2 with another. EDG without a response.
EDG have to figure out something here because it's starting to slip away. From 4 to 4, G2 going on a run here, up to 7. Yes, it comes off the back of 2 half buys from EDG, but it's the manner in which it's happening, their game plan being deconstructed, that is the most concerning. EDG have not been able to find an answer to these early fights. They've started shying away from them, but even then, G2 are having so much more success in the post plants.
This feels deranged. We're going back to A again. Again and again we go. Operator there for Leaf, he's fine now. He can just sit there on the angle if he fancies it, but here comes the fight. We've seen it before, and it looks like we'll see it again. This time, Kung gonna be the difference maker. But it ain't over yet. Trent's still here. Slows down the roll, backs away. The first time this fight has gone EDG's way.
This post plant is going to be a bloodbath. Simon has the rolling thunder. There's ults on Jaw and Trent, and G2 are moving quickly.
Yeah, they want to get back in. Jaw fancies it. He wants to have a little bit of a biff on this one. EDG, he's seen everything. Calls for it, forces them forward. Leaf with a 1-2 punch. Trying to find more punish. It's Trent down to the 2v2, but nobody and Smoggy finally bring EDG around.
EDG are right back in it. Oof. Just an explosive round between these two teams, toe and toe throughout this opening half. It's a different feeling in the air, but this series is already shining up to be a good one.
at it with your old phone? We've got you. At Verizon.
That sat with them well throughout this matchup and this specific head-to-head. It could be enough to close the scoreline out, but can they stick true to the stats?
That's the ultimate question here on the opener.
Dropping a
And honestly, I think I might get a little bit more of a respite. Hold on, Smuggy's dodged away from some of this utility down to 5.
Lucky boy. I don't think they know the damage they've done, but still, damage done.
It's crazy that Kong Kong's just been left completely alone, but Simon has Fault Line to support him on this fight.
He's gonna need help. Someone help him. Kong Kong is so alone.
What?
It felt disjointed, maybe a misread here. EDG looking a little bit behind the curve, and look at where Leaf's gone to. Simon trying to be subtle with it, but there's nothing subtle about it. Easy light work for Valen. This looks, for the first time in a while, like EDG are completely behind the wheel.
Yeah, that's certainly a way to win a pistol round. Just 2 free kills to start things off. My eyes are on Smoggy on the flank, but again, he's on 5 HP, so unless he's shooting Jaw in the back of the head, and look at those nades! What?
No way! That is a absolute tilter of a way to end. And Smoggy was the one who was just left battered and bruised from the start. And we were singing the praises of EDG. I have never seen them look so out of sorts there.
Yeah, that was wild. I want to see exactly what happened. My guess is that the wall came down at the same time as the double Tejo nade came in, and EDG were just completely caught off guards. Boom. Oh, there was a stun. A nasty little stun.
Wow.
Yeah, because I'm not actually sure if they even needed to use the stun on the exec. G2 might have been holding that the entire time, or just getting it off the refresh.
G2 look like a different beast, don't they? This worries me, because again, 7 out of 7 were EDGs. That was something that was such a big backbone to their games, always getting that nice buffer at the beginning. Now, you're going to have to work it out without that. And a big start here for G2, up to 8 early. Jaw having a good little series 2 for him here. A little confidence builder after what's been, I don't want to say a bad performance, but we know his highs. Very hard to have that against a team like EDG.
Exactly.
Time to jump.
G2 going for true FPX buy here, 3 rifles, so options to upgrade into round 15. Start to snowball this half away, potentially. Looking at ultimates, they haven't done a stellar job so far of scaling those up, although Trent on 3 right now. If they slow play this round, play for the orbs, the plant, he could certainly get close.
Real nice edge stuff, but look where the spike's heading. Thank you, observers, you absolute beauties.
So G2 and EDG are very different teams. EDG on their attacking side fought A at 1 minute 40 seconds,
Yes.
I think every single round, or
Yes.
just about.
Give or take.
G2 play a lot slower, moving over to the C site, but EDG have done their homework. They've got a flank going, yeah, that gets shut down, but the rotates are in, and G2 only have 30 seconds to play with. They're pivoting away from C.
I do get nervous when I see these rounds go this late. There is that one sheriff with Kong Kong, so that's basically where my mind goes towards. And oh my god, forgive me, Simon. I didn't think your classic could do that sort of thing, but apparently it can. 18 seconds now. Getting a little closer. Jonah P on the case. Try to secure this smoke, because you know the temptation would be to try and work through it. Chichu has a go at it, doesn't work out. Kong Kong down a little low here. And all those opportunities fading. G2, very... the composure is impressive. Again, they were discussing that they were going to come in with a different pace, right? Change the pace up a little bit,
Right.
Play a little bit slower almost, be a little bit more methodical about it. And so far, it's holding true. I get nervous when we get down to like 25, but still.
Sure, yeah, you know, we can get on the edge of our seats just a little bit, but Valen thought that by sort of going for all these early active plays, rushing in the calls, it sort of let EDG play the game style that they wanted to. So I think this half is going to be a lot more G2 true style, slowing the rounds down, leaving embeds over towards stairs into mound. And EDG, without a sentinel of their own, are going to have to do good work to re-clear space and find nice openers like that. You can't complain there.
Oh, you take those when you get them. Okay, let's have a look at the rest of the map. EDG having a walk, having a wander, stretching the legs.
Get the blood flowing.
That's the one. That feels smaller, but you're starting to feel a little bit nervous if you are Chichu. And then again, it is Chichu. Maybe I'm talking absolute nonsense, because this man's been an absolute monster. Not now. Trent bullies him, takes the site. G2 have control on this now.
And they have the read as well, going up the zip line. I think they realize EDG, they would have hurt them already had they been coming to fast retake, but instead, that flank, the drone, doesn't actually see any players. EDG might be able to creep up on Jaw.
Jules ready for it though. He's looking towards his smoke. He's got a good idea, but Smoggy succeeded. Takes away Valen, and now they can start getting that stranglehold going. Jaw falls. It's down to Trent and Jonah P, and they're looking in trouble here. A really hard post plant, but already that's a trade, but it's not quite good enough. No more to be done. EDG proactive on the play back in, taking that walk through B, and will get themselves on the board now.
I wouldn't be surprised to see EDG go for more looks like that, right? If you're worried about G2 leaving inserts and late lurks on you non-stop, just push out the flanks, no problem.
Goddamn.
That was probably the best time you could possibly find. Nice shot there too from Smoggy. As he was the sole presence coming in through his own spawn. If he falls, it's much easier for G2 to turn around and focus on those flankers. He was really the turning point in that round for EDG.
Okay, so bonus round has been navigated. EDG, get what you'd kind of expect, right? If it's a traditional game. This feels nothing like a traditional game, but we're looking at Trent, already there. Big progress for him. Jaw, 2 away. On the other side, nothing mega close yet. Maybe Smoggy's is on the horizon. But it's certainly not there right now.
It's a pretty low commitment default from EDG. You've got nobody throwing a haunt from B site that lands over towards rubble. You've got Kong Kong sort of eyeing up that space in a one-way towards C, but they're not giving G2 a lot to move on. So G2 are gonna have to clear out this space, realize Baby Door isn't broken, and speed up into B site.
Yeah, they fancy it now. The temptation beckoning and snaring the senses, making that B side look almost tantalizing. Plants in there. You can see the Prowler from deep. They're very paranoid for EDG that someone could be lurking towards that A side.
This fight here is everything. Jonah P gets in the corner.
Oh my god, the Professor! Absolutely teaching him a lesson. Takes down 2, but a good trade. Now, Chichu, nobody and Smoggy have a long way back in here though. Valen, gonna be caught in the decay. Nobody now. Takes the next step forward. This is perfect. 3v3. Nice from Chichu. Takes away Jaw. And bit by bit, EDG unraveling G2. Leaving Just Leaf. Oh, but maybe it's not Just Leaf. Hold on. A 1v2 ain't easy though, smoked off as well. Beckoned forward by the spam, by the tap on the spike. He's got to go! Nice try! But better from Chichu, but the timing.
No!
It's
I don't think so! .07!
God damn!
G2 just steal around on time, why not? And what a fashion to do it in, because EDG, they're in a numbers down situation, right? And then they win every single 1v1 they take. Nobody, Chichu, Smoggy on the flank.
Feeling like an EDG round, right?
And if Leaf can't get that kill just slightly faster on the reactions, then Chichu. That round belongs to EDG.
They don't look too fussed about it, but I'm feeling the pressure now. 10-6, double digits made early. G2 looking to try and approach this, but EDG, okay.
They've got
the corner.
No guns, but the power of friendship, I suppose.
No, Hong Kong's got a bulldog. I don't feel like this might be the one that works for him, though. You know, it's one of those weird rounds. Okay, I've been talking absolute nonsense. Jaw's already got Kong Kong. Leafs identified that there was some pressure on the other side. Does get outdone, though, and that's a recovered rifle.
Yep, into the hands of Chichu, no less. So what does Jogmo have to do? Has to pop the ultimate, clear out this A site. Right now, it's just Simon playing up inside of this smoke. He's got a bulldog in hand.
Doesn't get spotted either. They don't know about Simon here. Now they do. Quick little get out of jail free card there for Jaw, but still, plant is in.
Heavy offsite post plant for G2. Not over-forcing like they did the last time around, but really it's Chichu with the rifle in hand to try and break this round open. He gets the first.
Oh, it's stunning from Chichu. More? No. Jonah P on the trade. Paranoia comes in, and now the numbers starting to fall. This is looking rough. You can see the util being poured on here. Trent even going to claim one, going to put the ult on top. They're taking no chances. Smoggy had his ult, but doesn't feel like he's going to get the chance to use it here. G2 on the verge of 11, but Smoggy giving a damn good go. Jonah P having none of it. G2 make it out, even though it got a little bit dangerous. It's 11 nonetheless.
Yeah. You know, they had to throw a couple ultimates into the mix. G2 aren't going to be thrilled about that, especially because EDG have a great ult cycle of their own coming on through. And ultimately, here, I feel like if Chichu had been able to find a second coming, there's a world where he gets 3 kills and can steal that round away. You know, he's had a lot of these spots where he's always good for his 1 kill, but in other days, he is having montage performance. He's getting those 3. That's the EDG that blew G2 out of the water. If he can out of this, you don't lock in the clove and then not put up big numbers. Smoggy's doing well for himself, but so far, we haven't had that lights-out superstar performance. We haven't had that one guy to step up and say, today's the day, EDG are winning. It's something they've had every other match they've played this year.
It looks like a very simplistic start, but there is a default being held on both extremities here.
Stun off of the breach, could open up that door and fight into B main, but G2 have a chance to pinch themselves going through a one-way.
But it's going to find so little, I think. It's Jonah P to deny Smoggy, going to force the res, but it's G2 being played in here. Deals with Jaw, doesn't fall foul to it, but a diving Jonah P puts him to bed. It's down to a 4v4. Jonah P is an absolute monster. Trent going to find Simon. Why does G2 make this look easy? This is EDG. These are the reigning champions, and right now, G2 are walking all over them. I can't believe it. And you can get one, but one is not enough. G2 are there in numbers. Kung, if there was a player to do it, to deny the 12, you'd argue it could be him. Right now, G2 looking like they're on another level. The utility there to stall. The time being bought. And the first man has a go, but Leaf's just toying with him, playing with his food. Kung can't get past the go signal. This is wild. It's not that it's just a win, and at least in my mind at 12-6, it's the fashion in which G2 are making EDG look out of sorts.
Almost that systematic destruction in every single opening tool taken. EDG love to play the brawly style.
They excel at it.
They do, but Jonah P has awareness to every new player that's swinging him off an angle. You know, his teammate gets taken down, so he trades them out. Door opens, instantly ready on the swing, on that 50-50.
Cutting through.
It's only map 1 though, right? Things will change, you'll get closer. 12-6, we go back in, and it feels familiar, right? This feels like we've been here before, but G2 stake their claim over towards Rubble.
EDG keeping 2 players tucked in close behind that wall. Waiting for the reclear, and with nobody finding that pick into mid, that might encourage G2 to keep fighting forward into A.
They have no idea about how many players are around this corner, though. They could walk into this. Yeah, Kung this time is fired up, and then completely just seems
looking at?
drift. Oh my God.
What are they looking at?
I don't understand what I'm seeing. This is EDG. This is not a second-tier team. This is one of the best in the world, arguably the best in the world. And right now, they look asleep at the wheel. G2 just driving forward. We're going to need heroics to save this round. Maybe it's nobody's time to shine. G2 there, Smoggy there. Valorant and Jonah P to claim, but Jonah P has been a monster. Nasty in his work. Valorant in the smoke.
Last player standing.
Chichu catches. Nice from Chichu. That was better. But that felt bizarre halfway through that round.
Left scratching your head for a moment there. Even though EDG had done all the great opening work, nobody finding the pick into mid. That first kill towards Rubble too. Got a little bit diabolical.
One enemy remaining.
We need someone like Chichu to heat up a bit here, right? Chichu, give me a little something, because we've been singing this guy's praises, you know? On for the MVP, the big man kind of taking all the limelight. These are the games we need you to show up in as well. He's not doing badly, he's 14-15, but you know, he's a superstar. So we go again at 12-7. G2 held off from that wanted 13. Smoggy, big chance, big shot! Oh, it's gorgeous! A third potentially as well. He waits.
This fight into front B is going to be everything. As smokes come in, Trent tries to fight his way out, carve himself away on through.
Yeah, but Smoggy, he's still on this one. He's still there. They're still trying to battle it out towards B, but Smoggy's controlling so much. You are a lucky boy, Smoggy. The gods smiled on you this round, but Valen left in a 1v3. Got Spike, got ult.
Plenty of time too. A paranoia, a couple of smokes. He's got to hunt out the first kill though, and getting spotted is brutal.
He's got 1v1s on basically every single site he wants to go to. Now, do you fancy a chance against Smoggy, who's kind of 1v4'd your team?
Kind of killed everyone this round, so I wouldn't like that personally.
Do you even invest your paranoia to clear this close corner? Do you back him still on it? Because Smoggy certainly does the setup here. Knife's edge, and it's Smoggy. What a stunner from him. 4 kills and a step back.
In this replay, I want you to watch Smoggy. Of course, excellent gunplay, but Chichu is the one that bails him out. Smoggy gets stunned back here, but a Paranoia catches both of these players. It was the clone and the Yoru. That's what gives him the chance in the round. Then he has the one-way, those BDCs running on through it. All the gunplay after that, just clinical.
G2's first time out here. Something they don't like Americas with stingers. I've heard these fables about it, right? They work better out there.
They're a little bit wild.
It's crazy that Riot tuned them that way, but we'll see. Okay, EDG, if you want to make a game out of this, it starts now. Make this look clean. Make this look like you have the perfect purchase up against a bunch of stingers. Show me what you can do here, because already G2 have a plan. And Jaw, I don't think you come out of this alive, you don't, Chichu. Puts him into the blender. And G2 held at the door here. EDG don't need to stick around too far.
Trying to work back in, but yeah, EDG can just fall back into a nice crossfire. It was a great counter stun from Simon into the blast that took out G2's duelist, and now the stall is just about endless.
G2 not going to get the opening move they wanted out of that. It was a nice little idea. I like the approach, the mentality. Doesn't really stick the landing.
And the worst part is G2 needed that to work because that would open up the lurk for Leaf to move into the A site, but because they weren't able to make much headway, well, Kong's op is still back towards stairs, so Leaf moving forward would be absolutely mental.
Here we go. Could be an X factor here, or it could be nothing. All up, G2 move in. Now focus through towards tree. Kong doesn't really get much play here, at least not yet. He'll be a little nervous when Trent's around. He's been sharp, but Kong,
this is a bit early.
He's feeling brave on this one. He's feeling quite bold, actually. Kept secured by the smoke, but only for a second. Look at who's closing in on the other side as well. So just a centimeter apart. Hello, Kong quick with it. Support from Simon, and G2 left in towards the ult. It's down to a 3v2. They're going to force out the ult as well. Simon taking no chances here. They want to bulldoze forward. Oh, I told you about these stingers. And maybe it's true. Smoggy has to pull this off himself. And the time is ticking. G2! The stinger in hand, more than enough to close out map.
They're going to need to make some pretty big changes because EDG have looked good here on split.
Let's see what G2 can do. Right, this is a big thing for me. If we're going to be starting to see this map veto adjusting like this, I want to see if they can really stand up to it. It'll be EDG, of course, on the attack, then meaning G2 on the defense.
Cute little bait and switch setup back B site here. Jogamo having all the support from Valen to bait out those shots while they... Oh, what's that nade?
Oh, what's that shot? Jaw so quick with it towards Kong, but he goes a little too early on that. Simon going to punish him, forcing Leaf closer to site. Hold on. Do they still check? Do they still do their due diligence here? Leaf could get played in. He could have a monstrous impact. No, it's Simon to shut it down so quickly. That's a 4v2. Trent, I mean, he was damn good before, but Chichu looking absolutely on it now.
That was nice. Chichu speeding up through mid, I think behind a Tejo drone. And then EDG, yeah, okay, Kong gets shut down by that Jogamo position in back sight, but after that, he didn't even blink, didn't even flinch on this entrance.
There's nowhere to get to.
Yeah, the stun combo that ended up catching Valen. That's what gave him no chance to escape from the missiles.
Teo, quite strong apparently.
Yeah, turns out.
Who'd thought it? Oh.
Nice!
Looking like a little bit of a fire lit under them now. We were talking about their pistol conversion though. EDG have been winning the vast majority, barring one, I believe, in that previous map.
That's 8 of 9 pistols now across the games they've played G2 in.
Beyond that, though, for G2, we're looking at them maybe trying to get those ult orbs up, or maybe just trying to get a little trap going here for EDG. The buy's relatively decent, as long as Kong doesn't lose that Vandal.
Looks like EDG think mid might be a little bit weak these last 2 rounds, trying to challenge it. This time G2 ready with the flash on the refight, but those missiles give you not a lot of room to fight in.
Go for a little crunch hit. That
what?
How did Trent get 2? How has he gotten 2 from it? That is so outrageous from G2. I thought it was going to be a little bit of a myth, a little bit of a brawl, but apparently G2 just needs some classics. I was worried about the Vandal being dropped, let alone every other weapon. G2's having to come back in on cleaning duty. Boys, what's happened in middle? You made an absolute mess. And Leaf.
Just smokes on smoke.
Yeah, good luck. Have fun. He's clean. He's going to need a bit more than that, though. Leaf, suddenly, getting a little shaken here. But Jonah P's still alive. 4 bullets. They're waiting for this drop here. Oh! G2, you are outrageous! Saving EDG from what could have been a nightmare of a round.
G2 decided to wake up 5-0 with the Red Bull clutch.
But G2 are not meant to be able to do this.
No.
Come on, look at Trent. You are so damn good.
And look, Trent and Jonah P on light buys have just been fiendish. Whether it's a Sting or a Guardian, a pistol, it doesn't matter.
G2's been the closer here. We were talking about him not having big impact in map 1, right? He was a bit quiet compared to his traditional standard. He's already off to a heater of a start. However, we do have G2 in a nice position now with this purchase. This should be comfortable.
Outlaw in Jogmo's hands now. I think only the heavy armor on a couple of players, Chichu and Kong Kong. But, you know, you see Chichu step up like this, that's great news for EDG. But Kong Kong sitting at 0-2, that's now, after 2-8 performance in opening fights, he's been taken down very early in these 2 rounds.
Time to jump.
EDG without him at the top of his game. It's been hard to see them compete with the best in the world.
Quite like what Trent's doing here, very passive in approach, not giving away too much space, and Leaf kind of working off the negative space that was kind of assumed to be in the territory, and Trent still delivering. This man looks so sharp on the tail, I can't stress it enough. And now EDG starting to struggle a little bit here. This bonus was lacking in the investment as well, obviously light after round 2. Trent just a safe pair of hands, can't stress it enough. He is so solid, an absolute rock of this team. Now, can Simon or Chichu get under their skin? Can they cost them any of these weapons?
It's going to have to be Simon with the Vandal in hand. Only 55 HP, though, getting swung out on the side. Now he knows where the first is, but as Trent falls into sight, those angles are being taken away from him. 3 on the round is just excellence from Trent.
Really nice. Now, again, it was a bonus for EDG, a lighter purchase, but still, seeing that composure, Trent just looking super solid. I like to see it. Jonah P, similar things, at least in map 1 here. Trent kind of picking that space up.
It's really good awareness and sort of play from Trent and the support of the missiles coming in.
God, they're everywhere.
From Leaf and Trent. Because, you know, Leaf's getting pinched, players walking at him from mid, they're going up ramp into his shoulder there. And it seems like EDG really want to punish these mid players, right? The first 2 rounds, they fought into mid pretty aggressively. Now, going for the pinch look, G2 are going to be on their toes consistently through this half.
This is the big round, right? This is the one you want to really keep focused on. And have a look at G2. Walkabouts towards A, taking a lot of that space. A good response to someone whose high priority is middle.
Quick teleport from Jogmo goes back into B site. And that ult is going to try and push these EDG players away. G2 still hold on to A Heaven control.
It certainly stalls them out, but there'll be a question mark by Vent. They're going to know that that's been available for some time. They put their eggs in the basket of pushing through A main to get that information. They get these lovely positions off the back. But mid is worrying, right? G2 now feeling like they're playing in the dark, almost blind to what EDG are up to.
That's why I think G2 want to re-clear up towards B Heaven, look into mid, using that drone in towards A as well. So they realize EDG are putting their eggs towards this B site.
Yeah, George just came back over. You felt almost hesitation for a moment to slip back towards A, but no, look, especially with the space the Trent's taken, this feels very readable here, but it's still hard to hold this site. Very little of this area is playable, but Leaf's got a corner, and nobody can put Leaf in a corner. Already looking like EDG are suffering on the way in. Nice fight back through.
Hold on, Smoggy.
Oh, Smoggy straight through middle. A surprise they didn't expect, but the positioning coming out from Trent is probably not something they're going to expect. We've got to look at Jonah P as well. Gap closing towards middle. As a look towards rafters. Now Trent can start taking steps as well. EDG dedicated towards site, finding their own piece of security to play from. But oh my God, the timing! Trent just about to come back around here. They're putting it together. They've definitely put this together. Kung Kung trying to find a corner as well. Jonah P with the stun. Everything's starting to get harder and harder to hold here. Kung Kung trying to do the dance. But it's Smoggy and Kung Kung in unison. Kept their cool and got the round.
Just chaotic rounds here that EDG sneak away with. I loved what they did. Smoggy was just hanging out in mid for the entire round, just about. Once they dealt with the player in back of sight, Jogmo gets caught completely off guard.
I've got to say, Smoggy feels like the bailout player there because G2 had everything red, right? You had Trent literally in their spawn. They had all the info. But that was so valuable for Smoggy's timing to come through there because Joel was doing damage from up in heaven.
Really like EDG's game plan. They are testing the gaps in G2's defensive setup, knowing there's no Sentinel, to find out where the weaknesses are going to be, and catching G2 as they maybe over-rotate sometimes with the Orwalt. as they abandon that space in towards mid. I mean, even here, they've done effectively nothing, hanging out towards mid, put some presence onto the B site, but that's going to be the drone already cleared from Trent, and that's G2's best info tool. It's their only info tool, apart from Jogano jumping out into the open.
And you can see the cause and effect of that. You've now got two players rotating away, right? You're going to have Jaw leaning away from this Jonah P. This puts Trent in a really tough position. Now, he's got a good amount of stall, right? It's Teo. He can buy time for players to come back in. But Kankan wants to disrespect it, but Jonah P then isolating the player behind. Can't control sight, though, as Kankan is going to succeed on that one. Outdone, outnumbered. G2 flood back in early. They take the fight, and they take the heads of EDG. It's just Smoggy. A 1v4 necessary. Lovely on one, spots a second. Some more for us here, Smoggy. Not in the end. Trent there from the start and there at the end. G2 control this A site hit very well.
Trent's had a couple of great rounds so far. You'll see it on display here. Jonah P started off with a stun, and that sort of gave this window for Trent to sneak out of the smoke. The teleport Jogmo had put down very early into seeing some presence. Just after the Viper Orb had been thrown onto ramp, comes up in a big way too, because he can flood into sight and trade out his teammate that had already been taken down.
These are some big rounds for G2 as well. The timing that they're starting to hit here, it's feeling a little reminiscent of map 1. Now that's a very early call, and I expect EDG to look more comfortable here and have more looks to go to than in map 1 that felt almost crazy to find that same repetition. That was a big question mark for us.
Now look, the buy is miserable for EDG, but yes. Kong was given the Orb in B main. He's got knives now. It's going to be an operation to challenge space in towards mid. EDG will note that the fight with the breach stun was shown towards the A side. That's going to open up the green light for Kong just go diving into vents.
I like what Sideshow was saying, was can G2 put Kong in a box, right? Can they deny this man getting building? Now they did it to Durka, but Kong a different beast altogether.
This is a way more developed attacking side than we saw from EDG in map 1. Right? That map was all about the opening brawls. Now they're slowing down the pace, really challenging G2 so that they're using the dimensional drift on an anti-eco.
And already you can see them slipping away. Kong was
so nice.
This almost wastes the ult, right? Well, to an extent, it gives you some info, but nowhere near what you wanted. You're going to have the drone coming out now towards A, which should be heard, but it's a creep towards B. It's all a fake. Valen, the blind in hand, the paranoia primed, is countered. Kong blinded, but gonna go forward, still feeling bold, but Chuddy, you can see the floor littered with explosives. Finds a corner to play from, spots out Trent, dealt with, put into a cage. The beast from the east not having the time to shine, and now those sheriffs feel like there's just no bite to them anymore. That was meant to be the big ace up the sleeve, and Trent is looking like the final boss on this map. G2 unfazed by EDG.
That's the clean round G2 fans were hoping for. Start building up the econ, especially because we are about to go into some full-on chaos rounds with the ults. They're going to be online. I like, too, how G2 are consistently playing into backside. I think realizing that because EDG aren't playing arrays, they don't have that double satchel, they don't have the reach to punish you all the way in backside. So they're throwing these smokes sometimes halfway through sight. They're moving players' ultimates they could possibly ask for, right? But I don't think this team wants to overcommit them on an actual site hit. I think what they need in an A post plant is heaven control. They're going to be fighting into this mid space early on, can maybe move back into a Chi-Chu lurk. The real challenge is, can they actually push Leaf out of this space? Because it doesn't seem so likely.
Leaf's got control here.
And they don't think they can either. They're full on bailing from it.
Trent consistent in this check, but we know that he doesn't back away from this space. And rightly so. EDG are backfilling that now off the timing of that drone going in. But he has been the headliner here for me. Trent, that's info. That's surely he spotted a player on that one. Yeah, Jonah P ready for it. And we're going to have the util pour on. Kong again finding no safety, no comfortable way in, but this time Simon saves him. Jonah P goes down as Kong takes the side control. Chi-Chu deals with Trent towards heaven, and suddenly EDG have a pocket to play from.
And in the post plant, a rolling thunder as well, so G2, they need to act quickly or EDG are going to take the fight to them.
First time in a while, EDG look like they're on the money here. Jaw, though, still having a glance! What a shot! Couldn't follow up, but now it's all on Valen. Too much on the plate. EDG break down the door this time and stick the landing.
Huge round from EDG, right? They lose that, they're back on a bad buy again, and they only had to use the one ult Tail's going to be out of the picture, but they've still got Rolling Thunder. It's all because Simon found that kill. Jonah P, I think, took a great time in trying to push through.
I don't even blame him in a way, right?
Exactly.
That temptation to just close that down.
Because Kong wasn't going to be ready for it. It is only because Simon is full spamming, playing through the stun, that he can get a kill, that EDG are actually able to get out into the site.
Operators out for Jaw as well.
Ooh.
They're all coming this way. Oh my god, this could be a massacre. Jonah P sends the statement early, sending Kong into next round. Simon as well taking a boatload of damage, and they
Still
don't
here.
know about
What?
Jaw. A missed shot. Nobody punishing the push-up. And now we should surely reset the tempo a little.
We'll see. EDG, now that they've dealt with Jaw, maybe thinking the coast is going to be clear, because G2, they're walking 3 players down into mid. Jonah P is playing it relatively safe back into screens, but he's being pinged out.
They've got to know about him, right? Oh my god, he's taking the timing. You are a brave boy, Jonah P.
This is a crazy
You're just holding your breath. And have a look at the flank. Look at Leaf. Look at this. This feels unbelievable. Who blinks first, right? So tense between these two. Heaven control, EDGs. A little bit of ramp pressure now coming in as well. Jonah P has not played this position.
They're contacting in.
And nobody doing this with the operator too has not been revealed. Jonah P can hold this. The gap is closing. The Vice is coming. G2, they're right behind you!
Spike down.
Leaf tears them apart, leaving just the 2 who are up towards Heaven earlier. But they've got the spike. G2 and Smoggy. They've got TP on Smoggy, but does Leaf let him leave? He doesn't! He keeps him tethered! He keeps him down! G2 smothering EDG.
Oh, that's just nasty from Leaf. The wall's closing in. After this crazy opening of a round, they show so much of a fight into A. Then Dogmo hit whiffy on that. I mean, just by a pixel, he's off. But as soon as the round slows down, it takes a guy like Leaf to see that window to go pushing fully through. Find that big flank.
They've broken the money again.
And it's the 3rd round in a row Simon's had ult. He hasn't had a chance to use it.
Well. This was after the timeout as well for EDG. They've had theirs.
Hello.
What
is going on?
Good. It looks, yeah, that's normal. It's an indie company, small indie company. Don't worry about it. We keep going on here. For now, Kong has created space, right? He's got them the side. He bullied his way through Heaven. Oh, Trent! Trent is on another level here. Going to play this back through, but there's a late lurk in towards middle. Going to be needed here now as well. As already G2 closing the gap as Simon put on notice. Bouncer! Oh, back to back! You got another for a Simon. No, you don't, Trent! The final boss on this gets the defuse and takes G2 another step away.
Simon is trying so hard to be the guy to step up for EDG. Narrowly misses out on that one.
Planted.
He's had some big moments earlier today as well, but all right, G2, a moment to breathe, get the round, move past those shots from Simon, it's okay.
This is a heater of a game.
Yeah.
Operator still there now for Jaw as well.
Hopefully Valen can put himself back together too. Floor accurate Omen, I think.
They're going for another biff. Yeah, they're having a brawl again.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Kong has to just get out of there, get out of dodge. G2 are really turning the screws here on EDG.
But this time they're expecting EDG to move back into mid. Look where Jaw is with the op. He's fully cornered off in the wall. Now he's opening up. Early on, he was just having Leaf bait out that early shot so he could swing for the second trade. But now that no one's here, it's okay. 2 rounds ago, we were allowed to fully walk into this space. Can we get away with it again?
Ooh, the drone did find contact on A as well. So this is now getting a little bit uncomfortable. The timing, yeah, Leaf, every day of the week. They're making this map look small, right? This EDG now, their hand gets forced. They have to force this A fight. They can maybe consider a pivot through Heaven, but you got to play it forward now. It's all going to get messy. Trent still alive here. How is he standing? I don't know. But this is just an absolute battlefield. Kong, but from the grave, Trent trades out. We're still in a 3v2. EDG are trailing numbers, but they have the
Spike
plant.
planted.
G2 in Heaven. He's got a beautiful timing here, looking down into G2, but Dogmo takes him out. G2 shut EDG out of the round.
I can't believe what we're seeing here. This is getting better and better, closer and closer. G2, another step now, up to 6 here. EDG held on that 4th, and they burnt the timeout early, if I'm not mistaken. So for them, they've got to find the solution on the fly, and we've given them credit in the past for this, but I've got to say it, G2 looks so good on this map.
Oh yeah, they've realized now EDG were playing into it a lot early in the rounds. Now they've left it open. G2 are starting to punish into that zone, using the ultimates too to stop out the hit, just always trying to flood into the sites, and now Jogmo's got his ult back on up. He's still going to be rocking the operator. He's still going to be looking to play into mid because EDG didn't see that last round.
Very good point, and especially with a Viper's Pit through it too.
We're opping in a Viper's Pit? I mean, G2 come up with some creative ideas. This might be something a little bit extra though. He bugged! Kong!
This shouldn't be happening! That shouldn't be happening, but he gets away with it. It's so unorthodox.
And now, a drone goes through A, sees no one in sewers. Jogmo posts up on that line, so the quick reposition while the rest of his team fully shifts into the B site. EDG, they've got time to work with, a full-on minute. And so often, nobody will be the lurk for them, but he's walking straight into an operator on the other side, and it's just not going to be there for him.
We've been talking about it, putting Kung into that, pocket, keeping him from being able to make those plays, and Jaws had his number, but Valen now looking control towards B. The rest of the map feels like it's on lockdown. And Trent here stalls him out, makes it hurt.
I don't know if you play this round. Look at the money.
It feels like a 30-second save, right?
Yeah, EDG have nothing. I mean, okay, you've got the knives going into the next. Well, he's been trying to play this angle a couple of times, but now it's not going to be there for him. It's got to be the save.
For G2, they've got to start feeling it, right? There's something about seeing this scoreline, how they got to it as well, considering, the pistol and everything else. Something feels like they're on the verge of adding this map to the map pool, and not only that, eyeing up that grand final. Now, it's only the first half, right? But you got to look at how they're playing right now. They've forced EDG into the corner, and not many teams have done that. Again, yes, they were one of the only teams prior to Jaw joining them to take a win off them time ago in champs, but now you got to go off that recent result. EDG looked that step above, but here G2 back in fight up, and look at that!
What's that round? Even getting the snake bite for the Vuln for the extra damage. That one got a little bit out of hand for EDG early, but they closed out the first half of Lotus in a big way with some huge ultimates. They are one off of the Breach and the Tailwolf. They've got a buy coming in. Kong has the knives. EDG, it's time to show up here at the end of the half after losing 6 of the last 7.
And now we do have the double operator out as well. Leaf on this. He smoked off.
Oh dear.
Kong can't get around. He can't get into it. Round! And they can't evade the operators. G2 are looking primed to close out this half near on perfectly.
All EDG wanted was to be able to run an exec, get the ults online. G2 aren't letting them have anything.
No, they are lethal. They are looking like killers, right? They know their win con. They're making it hurt. Dancing around them, G2 looking like a step above. And as said, it is a very small club of players who can do that to a team like EDG, but right now, they absolutely are. Nobody in Simon with a world of trouble. And it looks like there's no way out of it. Simon gonna do what he can, as he can, but there's nothing to do but die. 8-4, G2. I was questioning this map. I was worried. I thought the third was surely beckoning. But G2 have a point to prove, and it might be proven by map 2.
Even in a grand final is just shocking.
Now we go back in. G2 on the verge here. If they can go against the odds and get a pistol as well, to do it when it truly matters would be absolutely magical. And the first man to potentially be challenged, Kung. As said, the stats weren't looking kind, weren't looking pretty for him. Oh, but he sticks around, he fancies a go at this one. He's feeling brave, and maybe not rightly so. Catches one on the cross, but does get traded out.
EDG quickly to move into heaven, but they're pushed off the angle. G2 haven't quite gotten the spike down, and now that the smoke has gone away, it's a little bit uncomfortable. Choosing whether or not to go for the best plant, but leave yourself open, or go for the safe one. And be forced to play on site.
G2 weighing up their options, but trying to buy a couple of seconds. Maybe want to pick here They want to burn some of that util, knowing that Simon, nobody's still alive, is a problem. And wait, EDG, they're having a go at it. They're getting a little early on this one. They even dropped down from heaven. Trent's got an opportunity here. And it's Jonah B. It's Valorant. EDG walked into the G2 trap, and they made it look easy. G2, look, maybe out of all of the pistol rounds, EDG have been winning them, but when it matters, G2 have converted.
That's just excellent poise from G2. Going for the fake tap, pulling back, dodging all the utilities. There was a stun, there was a paranoia flying on in at them. But they took these fights so calmly, so precisely.
And I love it. I'm gonna look. We're not played out in-house, right?
Right.
We're not. G2 are turning this place into a library, and I absolutely bloody love it. Let's have a go at it, G2. Let's see if we can keep this going. The EDG fans are being real quiet now. G2 putting Smoggy under pressure early. Can he somehow survive the most primal urge to try and just simply live? And Jaw's already taken away his support system. Looking for a bit more, gets a bit more. Smoggy's still standing, but for how long is Kang, the last one to try and do anything in this? This has been an outplay. And normally these rounds, EDG might get a little bit messy, get a little bit naughty, but it's G2 up to 10 already.
And EDG have to be thinking about the next few rounds here, realizing, no, because they lost these early ones, you're not going to have the money to force an early up for Kong. That can always be a difference maker. No. They're going to be on white armor. They're going to be on regen shields. They tried to go for some sheriffs in this round, and it didn't amount to anything for them.
True.
It's good news when you can be up there on stage and be singing in a qualifier match to the grand final.
Must be nice. Bye is in for EDG. Everything is on this round, really. If you want to make a game out of it, you got to get past the bonus, right? So G2 have a Bulldog, they have a Phantom, a couple of a Stinger, which is honestly basically a full rifle in the hands of someone like Jaw. And they're going to go for a high priority focus towards pressuring middle.
Yep, good nades to push Chichu off the angle. He's very comfortable in this position, but now there's the threat of, hey, players could have walked up in towards V Heaven. Right now it's Smoggy actually playing up on Stack that's going to be watching into Heaven. And with Kong back B site, that's excellent baiting. Where is Omen's positioning?
Ooh, speaking of baiting, Trent's trying to feign out towards A as well. I like this. Trying to keep those 3 players on this, but it's on Smoggy, right? This is all on Smoggy's shoulders. Do they clear? Does he wait patiently? Only with 1 though. Kong now down to 31 HP, trying to play off the back of Pillar and gets a fair fight. Takes away Val and can't quite control Leaf. It's still a bonus. This is still meant to be clean. It's a 3v2. If they lose any more, it's a problem. Leaf try to make maybe a low percentage play to try and help out. Doesn't work. EDG, get back in the game.
That was a nice setup, and that was Kong finding those opening kills, right? We've been waiting for that now that he's got a rifle in his hand. He gets that kill, dancing around Pillar, baits out his teammate. Yeah, Smoggy only gets the 1, but that'll be enough. EDG have to continue finding these different setups where they can punish G2 on their execs. Only then will we start to believe once again in EDG clawing this game back.
Yeah, it has to be round by round. It has to be step by step now. Finding 10 so early for G2 is heaven sent. They can take their time, keep their cool, work this map step by step. Kong is on this side of the map, the double swing. Smoggy there, going to be forced slightly further away.
It's another bait and switch setup on B. Kong and Smoggy clearly trying to play nicely with each other, get these shots working. Now Jaw only 1 orb away from the ultimate, and not too keen on getting spammed out through the smoke, so he'll TP on out.
And I quite like these patient tempo rounds. Does Leaf get to stay unrevealed? He does. Now it's a little bit of an indicator that maybe someone heard that util going through, but you're looking at Jaw dipping around the map now.
It's a really nice audible from G2 because they know that drone was sent from up in A Heaven, so making the sound of the teleport, putting some pressure on the Heaven players as they gear up for an A split. You can see nobody doesn't want anything, doesn't want to play for Heaven at all. Instead, regrouping with his teammate on site.
Going to clear for them through towards Heaven. There's no one there. It's CT. It screens. Nobody going to be forced away. Smokes off, but he still takes 1 down with him. That's Leaf gone. Still can't help Simon though. Simon is on an island here. He'd need help from someone else, but maybe Simon can do it all on his own. Jaw's gonna take away nobody. You can see the damage, but G2, punch for punch, blow for blow, decimating EDG, leaving Smoggy in a 1v3. Jonah P is on 10 HP, Trent 28. We've got them on low HP here. Smoggy, if there was a time to shine, it would be now. First hurdle. Might have seen the barrel. He's got him. That's Jonah P gone. 2 more, though. Trent has been monstrous. Jorgamo, I mean, he's known pressure, and Smoggy's starting to get into his own head here. Takes the TP. He now knows. Oh! A centimeter away from destruction, but G2, another step closer. 11 rounds now.
Oh, it shouldn't be that close, but EDG always make you believe just that little bit extra. Honestly, the hold from Simon and nobody was excellent. Having the stun from backside worked wonders, but there was like 2 or 3 different players that got dinks against the G2 players through walls or whatnot, and then got traded out instantly. EDG must feel like they got robbed in that round in a way, because they were the ones that sort of shot better at the start.
Frustration, baby. Focus. Real disparity on either side. You're seeing the difference in a at best for EDG. They're on the ropes.
Yeah, that turtle not approving of the EDG buy, that's for sure. It is grim for them. 1 orb away from Kong Kong's knives. That's got to be the difference maker if they're going to steal this round from G2. Ultimate up into mid from Jogma, fully trying to clear away this B site, but actually snapping it A is crazy.
Yeah, it's pacey, and you keep your eyes on the spike. You keep your eyes on where that's going. Simon the Guardian trying to hold it down, gets outdone. Jaws on the site, spikes on the way. They're being kept back here. EDG, no way through these smokes. They can't disrespect them right now. The pace change, the tempo,
and an ult.
Unbelievable. G2 want him dead. They want him buried. They take all the space away. They turn up the tempo, that next step. Jaw dips out, forces them to diligently re-clear now.
How mobile are G2? Just everyone on the map at the same time. EDG now forced to go onto the retake. They have no clue where G2 are.
They've absolutely no idea, but they're going to get their best bet. Kong Kong with the first step, looking for the follow-up. He takes another, striding in now. Dealt with, Leaf, back of the zone! Control from Leaf, stunning from Jaw. It's 12 for G2.
G2 one round away from the grand final. Just stunning EDG. The entry pathing from Jogamo is elite. And G2 have talked so much about the work they put in to getting Jogamo to become an expert on this agent. Not played much of it previously, but him and Josh RT have worked so much on the individual mechs, on the entry pathing there, the fake ult through mid into B, snapping the TP onto A, and all of a sudden, after a mid ult, he's diving you an elbow. It's just terrifying.
Still got 1 more to get. That fabled 13th, the one that books you into the grand final, and Kong Kong is waiting in your way with the knives in hand, and Icon himself still gonna find Trent, sets up G2, it ain't over yet. You can never take your eyes off the prize against EDG, but G2 still with 3 standing, still with a chance to do it now. But Kong Kong, how badly do you want this? Can he hold them back here? Does G2 fancy their odds? They fancy a go, and Kong Kong is still firing. He's still fighting. He's giving EDG the chance. Desperately trying to hold on, but Jonah P, you got a 1v3. Not right now. Nobody denies. EDG up to 6.
If that Kong Kong can play the next 6 rounds, EDG can come back in this. We've been missing that all day long, but even having the sense to switch the Stinger there for the spam through smoke back into the knives, that was pretty.
Game's close enough that it's brought G2 right down to the Stingers again, but do remember how Lotus closed. America's players with some Stingers and a bit of a dream. Could be the case again, but up against them a well-invested EDG. Odds looking like EDG would convert this round, but against the odds, G2 sometimes shine.
Teleport ready in the backside. Here goes G2.
Smoggy, nowhere to run. Tries to get out of there, sends a paranoia, buys a couple of seconds, goes back in. Jonah P on the trade, however. It's down to a 4v4. Oh, Kung, okay, he's found some room to play and he's just puffing out the chest, trying to hold this back, but you gotta be careful. There's still threat. There's still danger when Jonah P does that. Surely no more. Surely no more. Kung, a heartbeat shown.
Jonah P is G2's weapons master. Pistol, Marshall, Guardian, it does not matter. The low buy, that is where he can show up in a big way.
That still felt scary, right? There was something about Jonah P just like heating up there, just kind of like loose about it almost, just taking crazy fights, but it's forced G2 into a timeout, right? Because we've suddenly seen what can happen when Kung has a round, and he's had 2 of them.
It's a back-to-back 3K there, right? Again.
Which, now, tradition in it, we've had, I mean, at least the whole roster again for G2, it has been a collective effort. Now, looking like they're eyeing up this A site.
The way Simon plays on site is pretty annoying. Getting that vertical stun line to push G2 out of that space, put down the smoke, and EDG have crept into mid quickly.
And Jonah P could be on a plateau. I don't know if he's figured it out. Something's made him question mark it, right? Oh! Bye-bye, Smoggy. That's a head removed. And now G2 pick up the pace.
G2 really just have Simon waiting in their way, and he gets pushed off by great utility from G2. Calls in the reinforcements. EDG have no one on site.
EDG is scrambling. Kung, it's not good enough. Leaf outdoes him. We're down to 3. Chichu, Simon, nobody. Might have to face the music. G2, 2 kills away. Nobody has a glance. Has a look, gets given nothing. G2 on the verge of taking down the reigning champion side. But Chichu gonna take one back. But he's got a whole lot more work to do. The ult on the site. Valen takes away nobody. It's all on Chichu now. Ults upon ults. It's so difficult for Chichu. And the time is singing the tune of G2 right now. And he knows it. Time to face the music. Time to face that 13th round. Make a go of it, sure. Make a stand, sure. But you're not gonna take the round away. G2, the Ascension Dreamers.